Yo, what's going on, boys, and welcome to the channel and this new series I'm taking on called Quick Rundown, where we do a rundown on everything from the league lore to the league patch notes to anything league related. In this video, we'll be doing a rundown on the newest patch 11.24, also known as Riot introducing broken ass items and immediately nerfing them, making everyone's lifespan a little shorter for the month it's released. My general opinion on the pacing so far is basically, like always, I'm fucking mortified. It's really amazing how a multi-billion-dollar company like Riot can succeed in so many different avenues, like making indie games, music, and having a successful Netflix series. But I saw for the game, they've struggled to get right over and over again for the past 5 years, maybe even longer. The last thing I ever heard anything good about this game was Season 4, and that was 1 year before I started playing, and that's when people were having fun. Now all people do is play solo queue all day and just hate their lives because they just wasted 12 hours of their life that they're never gonna get back playing this shitty game. But that's besides the point. Now, let's get to the rundown. I know this may be a little late since the recent patch did release almost a week ago, but I still want to make this first video for the channel, so this may as well be it. So, let's get on with it. First off, let's look at this lovely message that Riot puts at the start of every patch notes. Usually feeling good about the changes they've done in the current patch. It feels like they're the only ones that don't feel like shit whenever these come out. So let's see what this says. We're keeping it classy this week with sophisticated champion, item, rune, and dragon updates to keep preseason running splendidly. Ultimate Spellbook is also getting a spiffy update. No one gives a fuck about that. Debonair dress code too strict for you? Head over to the TFT patch notes where the little legends won't debo care what you wear. Don't get too bricked up there, Bisis. Alright, now that's out of the way, let's see the champ's nerfs and buffs. From the patch highlights page, it seems like the only champ to get a nerf is Camille, and all it is her E, hook shot, aka her dash. It's getting a cooldown nerf starting at 16 seconds at rank 1, and deteriorating by 1 second by each rank. They've also nerfed her W, tactical sweep. That's the thing when she jumps up in the air and slices you. The nerf is to specifically the bonus damage she gets at the outer half of the cone, which deals bonus damage based on the target's max health. These nerfs aren't that significant, and it shows due to her high win rate still even after all these nerfs. I think Riot should do a double take for this one and maybe nerf her true damage on a cube, but they'll never do that. Now for the champion buffs. From the patch highlights, the most significant buffs here are Samira, Twitch, and Kale. Samira's ult now costs 0 mana on all ranks, which is what she kinda needs since her attack range isn't as high as other ADCs, and they also kinda nerfed the shit out of her, almost making her unplayable, but this buff may allow her to become a viable pick in the bot lane. And speaking of viable picks, Twitch's ult is now buffed for whatever reason. The extra additions that Twitch's bolts travel now scale with his bonus attack range. I don't know why the hell out of every ADC in the game he needed a buff like that, but I guess Riot was happy with that for some odd reason. And last but certainly the least of all champions here is Kale, whose passive range now scales with their bonus attack range. I guess she needed even more of a scaling buff, even if she already does scale incredibly well. She obviously needed an extra buff like that. Thank you, Riot. We knew we could count on you. Now enough of the champions, onto the items to see what kind of buffs and nerfs Riot has made this time. First off, Archangel Staff, and thank the fucking lord that lowered the cost of this item. It's underperforming. Holy shit, I think it would have died if they didn't add that change. A little too consistently, huh? What a fucking understatement. Axiom Mark, the broken ass item that has been dominating the game on assassins and is finally being nerfed. The ultimate cooldown reduction that it gives is now being changed from 25% to 20%, so now it is 1/50 of ultimate cooldown being restored rather than the quarter from each killer assist originally. I think overall this is a good change to the item on Riot's part, but I know for a fact people are still going to find a way to abuse this item again, and that's not Riot's fault, it's just the game. Since Cosmic Drive, according to Riot, has been overperforming on most champions, they have decided to nerf the AP from 75 to 65 and the health from 250 to 200, while also nerfing the speed bonus it gives to 50% decaying to 5%. Now, this is the item we've all been waiting for. Crown of the Shattered Queen. This item allows squishy mages to survive being one-shot from assassins and put up a fight instead of dying instantly. Well, instead of slightly nerfing the shield it gives or even the time it's on you, they decide to nerf the ability power of the item from 70 to 60 and the Ornn item from 80 to 70. Finally, the runes and the dragons. Just to knock these runes out the way, let's go through them fast. Glacial Alchemy Slow has been reduced from 35% to 30%. The Lethal Tempo, the attack speed granted for melee champs has been nerfed to 13% up to 78% attack speed granted. For ranged champs, it has been buffed to 7% up to 42%. And the overall attack range granted at max stacks has been nerfed from 100 range to 75 range. Lastly, Peril's ramp-up time has been nerfed from 1 second to 1.5 seconds, and the movement speed has been nerfed from 60% to 45%. Alright, that's all for the runes. Let's get to the dragons and wrap this up. While the patch highlights calls this a buff, I guess I could call it both a buff and a nerf for the Chemtech Drake, but let me explain it. The first change is for every stack of Chemtech Drake that is taken, it grants up to 6% bonus damage per stack. This means for every Chemtech Drake that is slain, it grants up to 6% bonus damage for each Chemtech Drake slain. The next change is when the Chemtech Soul is claimed. When a champion takes significant damage, they now revive for 4 seconds instead of the 5 and deal 40% less damage rather than the original 33%. So it is less time alive but more damage able to be dealt in that time. That's why I say it's a buff and a nerf. They give and take with this one. It's not really anything special, but I think they could have nerfed it this patch since it's kind of overpowered, especially the soul. And last but not least, Hextech Drake, which is a very underwhelming buff, which is for every stack of Hextech Drake, it grants up to 6 ability haste and 6% attack speed per stack, which really isn't a big buff at all. I think they could have buffed the electric proc given when the soul is claimed, but I guess it's what Riot wants. And that's about it for this video. My final thoughts on this patch is that it does seem this patch will be a bit hectic and calm at the same time, especially with all the range buffs and item nerfs, but I do hope in the future that you really focus on Chemtech balance, because right now, in my opinion, everything about it's all over the place and should be monitored at all times, but I do hope it shows some pro play, because then it'll be brought to attention even sooner rather than later and we'll get it fixed faster. Well, that's about it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please comment on what you'd like me to give a rundown on next. Since there won't be another patch for another while, let me know what type of lore or type of mechanic you'd like me to go over in the video. But since this is my first video, I probably will do a lore video on Jinx or someone from Arcane next, since the recent ending of that show. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.